introduce Mr. Naman Kandoy and Mr. Vardhan Kabra. Mr. Naman Kandoy, Director of Mayur School Jaipur, blends engineering prowess with a passion for education. With degrees from Purdue University and Imperial College London, he champions innovation and entrepreneurship in education. His leadership fosters academic excellence and embraces technology, creating a nurturing environment for student growth. Committed to educational transformation, he inspires accountability and collaboration for a brighter future.
Joining him is Mr. Vardhan Kabra, co-founder of Fountainhead School in Surat and author of Reimagining Indian Education. His visionary philosophy of education for tomorrow promises a new era in education, reflecting the true essence of his name. They are here today to talk to us on the topic of shaping tomorrow through skills, attitudes, and the power of liberal arts and sciences. Let us welcome them with a huge round of applause.
Good morning, everyone. This is quite a daunting auditorium you have here. I'm used to a much smaller place, which makes me feel more comfortable. So please forgive me if I'm a little nervous. And you're bright students. It's easier to talk to students of engineering colleges because they're not very bright, to be honest. Now, to begin with, glad to share the stage with Vardhan. I've been reading his wonderful book during my journey to Ooty, which again takes a long time. And the book was a quick read. It was very insightful. I discovered that he's a young educator who started a school not too long ago, and I've been following in his footsteps. And another thing that's common amongst the two of us is we're both engineers who moved to management education and are now looking to build good schools. Now, one thing I've understood during my time at Imperial, at Purdue, and while sort of discovering what I want my school to be, has been a balance of reductionism and abstraction. So far I've understood in the Indian education ecosystem, the sciences, the engineering fields, the STEM professionals, the trade skilling institutions, they focus on reductionism, right? Reductionism is, why is the weather the way it is? You move backwards and then, you study fluid dynamics and then you study molecules and how they behave and then you come down to particle physics at the end of everything. And you sort of reason to the fundamentals. कि जो हो रहा है वो क्यों हो रहा है, and that helps in problem solving because you break down complex ideas and complex problems into simpler ones, and you tackle them one at a time. That's the power of reductionism. Also, when you talk about abstraction, that is the domain of liberal arts because that is the breadth that Maheshwar sir was talking about. You connect different dots from different paradigms, from different domains, and you don't worry about the finer details. You look at the larger picture and then you find solutions. So liberal arts is too steeped on abstraction and STEM is too steeped on reductionism. What I believe is a fine balance between the two for good education, especially during the school years. And the book, which is called Reimagining Indian Education, touches upon these themes, and I hope that Vardhan will shed some more light on the idea, because this is something that's been, I've been juggling with these ideas in my head, that how do we actually find a balance between the two?
Thanks, Naman, for starting this conversation off. I'm glad to be here. Thank you, Ravi, and all the organizers for putting this together. There's a wonderful symposium. I want to quickly jump onto the point about what Naman has been talking about. And I'll talk about it from my own experience. Like I think most students of my generation and maybe even today, if you are in a typical school coming from a middle class family and you're doing well in studies, you end up going to go on do engineering. That's typically the case that happens. I did go on to do engineering at IIT Bombay, but I think within the first 6 months I realized that engineering is not something I want to do. I mean, it's not the reductionism is fascinating intellectually, but the application of it becomes challenging if you're not fascinated by engineering problems and unfortunately, a lot of the teaching in schools and even in engineering colleges is devoid of real life applications, and I'll talk about the point made earlier. So in fact, the courses which interested me the most while I was at IIT were in fact non-engineering courses. I studied like Vivek sir was just talking about it earlier. I enjoyed economics and psychology the most, and then you have to take some courses. It's not as liberal as I would prefer it to be, but there are some courses which you're allowed to take beyond the department that you're in. And I also did a semi-management sort of a course later on. So that was the ones which I found most interesting. So I completely resonate with your point that the balance needs to be in undergraduate education, and I think the liberal arts as a concept, the liberal arts and sciences, if you want to call it that now, is wonderful. I mean, moving towards that. Let me ask your own understanding about, I mean, maybe ask you this question about how your transition from engineering to management to setting up a school happened, and you know, that's something that we can talk about.
Great, thank you. So if I can share a not so brief story, which will make me come across as a horrible person, but that will also tell you why failures in life are very important. And then I'll connect the dots, you know, between engineering and the school today. So I was in grade 9 at the Doon School, which is a prestigious institution in itself, just like GSIS, but I faced imposter syndrome. I thought I did not belong there, and I just got lucky and got in. Dr. Saraswat was in fact my teacher at school when I was in grade 9. So I wasn't good at sports like the young man over there. He played football. मुझे football और soccer एक ही चीज़ होती है ये नहीं पता था. I came from a typical middle class Jaipur family. बढ़िया लोग हैं, हम लोग को धंधा करना आता है, हमको घर में बैठ के ना सास बहू के shows देखते हैं, दादी जी के साथ बैठ के, and not much else. Okay, so I didn't know who Michael Schumacher was. Bend It Like Beckham जब मूवी आई थी, दिस वाज ड्यूरिंग स्कूल इयर्स, मुझे ये समझ नहीं आया कि ये बेंड किसको करना चाह रहे हैं और ये बेकम कौन है. ठीक है, सो स्टार्टेड विद दैट, बट ग्रेड 9 आई वाजंट गुड एट स्पोर्ट्स, सो बॉक्सिंग में ज़्यादा बच्चे जा नहीं रहे थे ओबरॉय हाउस से. सो माई स्पोर्ट्स कैप्टन ही इज लाइक, लिसन, यू आर गुड फॉर नथिंग, व्हाई डोंट यू गेट बीटन अप इन द रिंग. सो आई वॉज रिलेटिवली टॉल फॉर माई एज, सो ही थॉट कि कर लेगा. I trained myself and I realized I'm not too bad. थोड़ा बहुत जो लाइफ का फ्रस्ट्रेशन है वो पंचेस में निकल जाता है. And I got to the inter-house competition. Now there were supposed to be 3 bouts. The first one, the semi-final and the final only in my weight category. The first one, I was lucky I got a walkover because there was no opponent who was as skinny and as tall as I was from the other house. So वो उस चक्कर के अंदर I got the walkover and I reached the semi-final directly. Now there was a fearsome opponent. He was 1 year my senior. Sir, if you remember, there was this boy called Joshi जो तबला बजाता था, जोशी सर का सन था. He was a strong boy, right? And everybody looked up to him, and I was really scared of him because he was like how you presume athletes are built. And I just got lucky with the walkover and entered that ring with him. 2 days before the bout was to take place, he met me outside the school hospital and he said, Naman, listen, I have a deal for you. I said, what? And he said, I won't go too hard on you if you concede right now. And I was taken aback. School life, parents had not prepared me for a decision like this. And I was, 14, 15 years old. And I thought, listen, I don't really want to get beaten up by Joshi especially. He's so strong. So let me take this. And I said, thank you, Joshi, for offering me this concession. And that happened. Then I was in the ring. तो बहुत मार खाई. I was like, but his punches were not hurting me. And I realized, यार मैंने गलत डील ले ली. I didn't have to, you know, compromise on my morality or my ethics. मैंने कहा अब जो हो गया, पापा ने ये जरूर सिखाया है कि keep your word. तो बाउट तो हारना है, लेकिन हारने से पहले एक बार तो बहुत तेज मारूंगा. And I punched him hard, and the whole, we have the Rose Bowl, which is an open amphitheater. I could hear everybody go, oh. कि इसने जोशी को मार दिया, अब तो ये गया. And after that, I was also able to defend myself well because bout तो मुझे हारना था. The first 2 rounds, I had taken enough shots on my face to be sure कि I'll keep my word and I'll lose this, and I did lose that. But afterwards, I felt cheap. I felt disgusted with myself. Ki, what did I just do? And, I come from a background of technocrats and industrialists, and we are into manufacturing. So STEM people, we chase objectives, we chase revenues from the banya blood that I have. तो ये सब चीजें किसी ने सिखाई नहीं थी. But then I reflected. Reflection becomes so important, which is why liberal arts is so important. Reflection helped me realize that I didn't have to do this, and I should never do this again, and I should always be true to myself. And that day in grade 9, I promised myself I'll never place a bet against myself. And that has got me so far. Starting with engineering. So IIT JEE की कहानी है, हर बच्चे को चाहिए होता है, हर पेरेंट को चाहिए होता है कि बच्चा IIT बॉम्बे से पढ़े. You would have been the ideal son to my dad. But unfortunately for me, I scored a wonderful total score of -11 on that exam. तो क्या ये चीज़ें पेरेंट्स को कोई नहीं सिखाता. पापा ने ये कहा था, बेटा if you don't crack JEE, I'll send you to US. So guess what happened? I went to US to study. So that -11 wasn't so innocent after all. वहाँ जाकर I studied mechanical engineering because we are into manufacturing, and I really enjoyed it. And after studying, I realized I'm not that great a student, so let me complete my education quickly. But I was good with examinations. I did well on my GMAT, got through Imperial College, studied innovation management over there. Came back, did a startup of selling pani puri. Sir को आज सुबह याद आ रही थी. It reminded me of my first startup. हम लोगों ने 6 महीने में 50 लाख रुपए के गोलगप्पे बेचे, which was kind of nice, but people didn't understand the startup ecosystem back then. Burn rate क्या होती है लोग नहीं समझते थे. पापा ने कहा, बेटा it's been 6 months, you've not turned a profit. Why don't you do something else or join the family business? So family business was manufacturing. Did that for 4 years. Really got to apply my mechanical engineering side, my innovation management side. So I have deep respect for making the right choices whenever they happen, because formal education does help if you're in the right domain and if you studied the right thing for that domain. So don't take this for granted. Yes, you have the opportunity of switching out later on or experimenting with different subjects. But as long as you get the choices right, sooner or later, those choices will help you do better and perform better in your journey, in your career, in your personal lives. That brought me to the school. Engineering education, we run an engineering college. वहाँ पर students did not actually want to be engineers. There was complete apathy towards learning. And it reminded me of my grade 9 in Doon. These students were feeling they had wronged themselves. And I couldn't help them at that stage beyond a point, because they were in the program second year, third year, they had to complete it. So I realized I want to start a school where this is not accidental, this is not left to chance. And by design, we ensure that children learn to reflect. Children are empathetic, not just with others, but with their own emotions. Children learn integrity, they learn the power of perseverance. So perseverance is one of my core themes for my school. That yes, passion will get you started, but perseverance in that in chasing that passion will get you to complete things and to achieve great heights. So with that, the school has taken shape, and it's just been 1 year, and interacting with the likes of few other educators and speakers here is just broadening my horizon. I'm still a student. I'm still learning on what a school needs to be. So you may not have questions for somebody like me, but I will catch some students outside the auditorium to ask them what schooling means to them and how would they design a school if they could. Because I have the privilege of being in that moment, and I would like to get your inputs. So sorry for that long arc of a story, but I hope that sort of makes you connect with your story as an engineer, MBA student, and then a school owner.
Absolutely, I think it does. And I mean, my motivation is not, it's not necessarily, of course, going to be the same as yours, but my own motivation was that I studied in 11 schools across India and abroad while I was growing up. I was not in one place, I was moving around all the time. And when I was getting, and I was a good student in terms of academic scores, but everywhere I was studying, I felt that, okay, I'm not really learning or enjoying something. In fact, my most memorable learning experiences were outside of school, learning experiences. So when I did a internship at the Inter-University Center of Astronomy and Astrophysics in Pune, that's where I learned so much more application of trigonometry and maths than I had done for many years, I mean, through schooling. And which is one of the crucial problems that I see, that the dichotomy that happens by some stage for most students is that either you are good at maths and science, or else you end up doing the commerce or the art side. But unfortunately, that dichotomy is false, and which is what we've been talking about, which is what you started off talking about. The dichotomy is also false because the reality is that going ahead, there is so much more that students need to be learning to be able to succeed in life. And then a book that in fact all our leadership team at school went through, like we studied over a year, is called Range by by David Epstein. So he talks a lot about the importance of cultivating range in terms of knowledge, in terms of skills. One of his biggest themes there is late specialization rather than early specialization. And that, I think, I know for sure that, I mean, engineering was not a well thought out choice for me. I did not, at some point I may have liked science and maths and hands-on activities, but by the time I was in like 11th and 12th, I was not enjoying that anymore. But I did enjoy a lot more of economics and psychology. Now, had I had the option of being able to explore a range of subjects during my undergrad and then deciding on a major, even if it was engineering, or at least towards the science side, I would have been, I think, much more happier academically. Most of my learning in college, at least in engineering, was outside the classroom. I mean, it was running events, doing hostel activities, all kinds of, all of those things that really was part of my learning experience. So that's, and that for us as a school, and then we run an IB continuum school. IB naturally lends itself a lot more to liberal arts, given the structure it has across PYP, MYP, and the diploma program. So many of our students, I wouldn't say many because it's not a very large number, but at least 7-8% of our students over the last 8-9 graduating batches, so about maybe about 30-40 of the 500 plus have gone to liberal arts colleges in India and abroad. So Ashoka and Flame and Kriya, Shiv Nadar, OP Jindal, many of the universities which are mentioned, which are here or have representative here, and which we hear about all the time when we talk about progressive colleges in India. However, the issue still happens that the majority still is thinking monochromatically. I mean, it's either doing a hardcore engineering, and in our case, because we're from Surat, it's most of our parents come from business families, our business families, so business management and finance is a big choice. Now, they don't, in my strong opinion, they should be doing a lot more liberal arts, not just, I mean, committing themselves to a narrow, whether it is STEM or whether it is narrow BCom or BBA sort of a degree. But there isn't enough awareness, and liberal arts as a name also is a problem. We just pointed out in the previous session, because it comes across as you're just doing arts and music and stuff. But it's so that's a societal change that we need to make, that we need to bring about. One request that I would have as someone who helps a lot of parents understand various choices is also, and then I think Maheshwar spoke about it a little bit, but we would want to get a lot more statistics on placements and comparisons. What is happening with students going to a regular BCom BBA in India versus going to a liberal arts college in 5 years down the line, 6 years down the line. We have some statistics. There is statistics that is there with the colleges, but it's not well known enough for parents and students to be able to make what seems as a more risky choice. So they end up preferring the standard colleges, standard degrees, as compared to taking up more. There are those who go through the US, and they obviously, US being in general a lot more flexible with the majors and minors, and so they anyway have a lot more broader choices. But if you're in India, you get stuck and in an undergraduate degree very quickly.
So one thing I want to bring up quickly is, when I read the title artistic learners, so how do we even define an artistic learner? So I realized that it's mostly about interrogating your own thoughts, identifying your biases, and working with them or consciously working against them. And one of the things that liberal arts is great with is introducing that ability to interrogate yourself. Another problem that you brought up is that we don't have early enough exposure to these subjects. I was given a choice to study economics in grade 11, and I had zero awareness of economics till grade 10. How do I even make that choice? We get early exposure to humanities like history, civics, geography. We get to mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, but we don't really get to study the more interesting sides of liberal arts like philosophy and economics and psychology and sociology. So how about, majority of the students in the Indian ecosystem are still part of the national curriculums, right? CBSE, ICSE. So how do we ensure that they get early exposure to these subject domains so that they can build that capacity for internal interrogation?
I think the movement of the national education policy is definitely in the right direction there. There is a lot more emphasis on vocational training as well as electives. It is still to be seen how the implementation is going to happen and what sort of choices are schools going to be able to offer so that the education becomes a little broader and not just very narrow by the time they're in from 9th to 12th especially. So that would be really useful. There is enough, there are enough examples, not just the IB schools or the Cambridge schools, but even within CBSE, which are trying to offer, like I know Shiv Nadar offers a range of choices in Delhi, the school, where they are able to do not just the narrow commerce or the arts or the sciences, but they can go across and take subjects. But it is difficult for schools to offer because also parents don't seem to have a demand, but therefore it's somewhat of a chicken and an egg problem in that situation. But someone has to break that vicious cycle.
For the students present here, I'll give you a little cheat code in life. You may choose engineering, you may choose fine arts, but you don't have to, leave the other things. So one way to get everything that you want is to read a lot. There's been a book written about everything. There's a book in every domain. There's a book of every famous personality. The more you read, the more of this liberal arts will actually become part of your life. So don't feel that you don't have philosophy or the school doesn't offer a certain subject, so you can't make that choice for yourself. There has to be autonomy as a learner. We cannot make excuses for missing out on experiences in life or missing out on learning in life simply because it's not offered to you. You need to create those choices by reading, and I think GSIS will have a beautifully stocked library. Spend a lot more time there and discover for yourself the joy of learning, the anand in learning, and that will open up many more choices for you than you initially anticipated or planned for.
Absolutely, I think, and this also helps me connect to a quick activity if I can do with the audience. I mean, I do this, and you spoke about, we were speaking about this in the morning, that when parents come into our school, how are we orienting them? What are we talking to them about? And I think it sets the stage for also what sort of choices they are able to make much later in life for their own kids, whether it becomes a narrow set of choices versus a broader set of choices. So maybe quickly, if I can ask the audience to think about just two of the top things that make people successful and happy in life. We spoke about the goal of life being happiness, and I'll just add to it a little bit and say, okay, success I don't want to narrowly define it, certain amount of money, fame, but you can define it your own way. But I just want you to think about two things, the top two things that come to your mind that make people successful or happy. Just think about it. I'll give you half a minute to think about it. It's not, I'm sure most of us would have already come up with the answer. Yes, ma'am, you can share. If you can just share it loudly, I'm sure you're principal, so you can share it loudly enough. Okay, empathetic and honest to yourself. Yes, ma'am. Finding your ikigai. So you've like covered all of those, four things, and you've like covered a lot of my material there. But let's hear anyone else. Students at the back. Yes. Non-conformity. All right, fantastic. Anyone else?
That's a perfect student for liberal arts.
Yeah, absolutely. What else? Top two things that come to your mind when you think about successful people, happy people. What are those qualities, characters that they have? Yes, sir. Okay, resilience. So he already spoke a lot about perseverance, I mean, as a core value. Okay, enjoy what you're doing. Adaptability. Boy, the back, right at the back. Say that again. Consistency. Okay, so very much in line with Mayur school, right? I mean, what he spoke about. Yes. A positive mindset. Yes. Passionate. I mean, not dispassionate. Okay, why do you want to be dispassionate? I mean, you want to be passionate and dispassionate about? Okay. And I mean, it's an interesting perspective.
That's very interesting.
It's an interesting perspective. But I will connect it to what David Epstein says in Range, that too much grit is also a problem because sometimes we don't know when to let go. And I know a lot of people who've stuck with Vivek sir spoke about the UPSC candidates. I mean, you don't know when to stop. I mean, and the same happens with so many other areas. So I do agree with what you're saying. There were some hands here. Yes, ma'am. Passion and dedication. Okay. Yes, sir. Impacting people's lives. Okay. Impacting people's life. Absolutely. Fantastic.
If I may add one, finding meaning in what you do.
Yeah, so impacting people's life, finding meaning in what you do, yes. Self-discipline, perfect, fantastic, which we all struggle with. I know I struggle with it. I'm sure you struggle with it, that's why you're mentioning it. Yes. Humility, okay. Good salary makes you successful, or... Oh, it gives you happiness. Okay. So fair enough. I mean, there is a happiness study.
Not in a Mercedes Benz.
Yeah, there is a happiness study based in the US which says that $70,000 is the benchmark for beyond that doesn't matter, but you need that much to be happy. Yes, was there a hand up there? Yes, ma'am. Having good people skills. Okay, yes. Curiosity and kindness. Motivation. Okay, motivation. Absolutely. Somebody here. Solving problems of the society. So Maheshwar spoke about impacting the people around you, solving problems of the society. Fantastic. Okay. Anyone else? Yes.
Self-satisfaction.
Patience and self-satisfaction. Fantastic. Patience and strong social support. Okay, fantastic. All right. Yes. Unconventional. So someone said non-conformity, right? I think that the girl in the front, yes, she said non-conformity. Okay, I know some of these more answers might be left, but I want to say that there is something which is important, which is missing. There is something which is important, which has not yet been spoken about. Okay, right attitude. Learning from real life experiences, sir. Introspection. Okay, he spoke a lot. I mean, in reflection is something he spoke about in his own story. Yes, sir. Creativity. Yes, sir. Proper direction. Yes, sir. Punctuality and compatibility. Okay, yes. Adaptability. Self-love. Now, I'm going to pause and tell you that what I'm looking for is not yet here, but it is also a googly. So you're not going to get it unless you think slightly out of the box, slightly, why I'm looking for this answer. And I do this with parents, remember this. I do this with all parents at the beginning of when they come in for an admission orientation. So let's see if I'll give 3 more chances and then I'll maybe if you know the answer, you can, hold on.
I read the book this morning.
So that's what I'm saying, you probably know the answer, so maybe you can talk about it. Yes. Entrepreneurship skills, fantastic, but not what I'm looking for. Confidence. I'm assuming manifestation of your Ideas, thoughts, dreams, okay? Yes, ability to do that. Absolutely fantastic. Exploration, innovation. Okay. Now, I'm going to give the answer. It's going to sound very silly, but it's also going to be important in this context. No one, and I've been asking, I've been trying to get that answer. No one said that you need a certain degree or you need a certain rank or mark in school or college to be successful in life. And I gave enough chances. I gave enough chances here to everyone to come up with that answer, but that is definitely not what was top of your mind. And the reality of it is, we do not equate at this point of time in general. Now, I'm not saying that it's true for everyone. In general, formal education, the way we've been measuring it narrowly through the marks or the competitive examinations or the grades, very rarely do we equate it with success in life or happiness in life. That's the mindset I have. And I'm not surprised that this did not come up here. I've done this now over the last 16 years, exactly the same exercise, given maybe 20 minutes instead of the 5 minutes I gave here, with about 10,000 people. Mostly parents, but also educators, also principals, everyone. Even principals forum will not say that, you know, you need to be topper in class or you need to be top few rankers or a certain degree. No one says that. Now the point I'm making here, and the point I'm making here is, therefore a certain degree is not going to be important. Therefore what is important is all of these factors you spoke about, probably best built in a liberal arts sort of an environment. That's exactly what the liberal arts environment is trying to do, from critical thinking to research skills to persistence, you know, all the research papers that they're required to write, whether in the diploma program that some of you are already doing, or if you go into a liberal arts college, or any good college in fact for that matter. All of that requires so much more persistence, so much more real life skills. If you can move that to project-based learning, learning by doing, experiential learning, all the more better. So, just to make that point about the fact that parents get this, that success in life requires all of these skills that you spoke about. It is for us as schools or colleges or for students here, a lot of them, to be able to make that point that I need a broader based education. I need to learn all of these skills to be successful in life.
Thank you, Vardhan. Now, just to close this session, I believe we are running short of time. I'd just like to close with one line. How many of you have seen Dead Poets Society? Very popular movie, everybody, right? So let's remember that. We need science, technology, engineering to make a better life. But we need arts, culture, music, poetry, something to live for, right? So let's not forget that, and liberal arts will bring that to the front. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Naman. And
Any
I just
closing
want
remarks?
I just want to add, like, from a personal viewpoint. I mean, now as a school founder, I can talk a lot about liberal arts, but also want to talk about the fact that my son is in grade 11 right now. And last year we did like a tour of all the what we call the progressive colleges in the north. So we visited Ashoka and Shivnadar and OP Jindal, Bennett and you know, few more, just to understand what's happening. So that was our priority for him. Is what I'm going to say now, because he suddenly shifted to saying that he now wants to do engineering. So it's and not because we forced him in any way. Both my wife and I are engineers, but we are really not engineers in any real sense of the word. But the point being that I think it's important to also help our students be exposed to all of that. Like our son also did a 1 week summer camp at summer school at Ashoka and had a great experience. He learned a lot. He figured, in fact, that process helped a lot for to him to realize that what is it that he really wants to do. So he said, I still want to do engineering, but I want it to be as broad-based as possible. So that helps him. So we're trying to now figure out, now Indian options are very limited, as we know, for engineering, if it has to be broad-based and more liberal arts. So now the options in India are limited, and something which if university people here can support, and I know there are norms and restrictions around that, but I think a lot is being done in that area and can be done a lot more. Thank you. Thank you for a great chat.
Thank you. Thank you for being a wonderful audience, and thank you, School News, GSIS, for giving us this platform to share our views.